Okay, our first question will come from Greg Almond.
Lenny, I think you had 6 snaps off on Sunday. I just want to ask you about. I know you're a guy that doesn't like coming out of the games to begin with, but just long term, whether you worry about wear and tear at all, if you're playing all but 9 snaps, all but 6 snaps, basically out there the entire game.
Yeah, I feel like the coaches, they're gonna find a way, to help me out with a lot of the guys coming in, Rashad and Steve and things like that. But right now, it's all about winning, and that's what I'm trying to do each and every week. Try to put my team in the best position to win. As if I'm not on the field, it doesn't really matter. It's all about winning these first couple of weeks. And the wear and tear, it's all about how you train. I train my body like this for this in the off season, to get prepared for things like this, running the ball, blocking, things like that. So I just feel like the hard work I put in throughout the summer, it's not affecting me right now. So I feel great.
Thanks, Lenny.
We'll go to Rick Stroud.
Hey, Lenny, you're no stranger to hurricanes. We've talked to you about what you've gone through with that and your family in the New Orleans area. When you see these things, how scary are they to you? And then just what you're going through with being displaced this week, not just as a team, but also with some of the families with wives and kids and everything else.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's cool seeing a lot of our colleagues, families around with their kids and things like that, because you only really experience them and seeing while they're at work by themselves.
Right.
So it's kind of cool seeing them firsthand as fathers, me going around, speaking to their kids and things like that. And just showing like outside of football, these guys are great fathers, RJ, Levi, guys who's on I guess I say our staff for media, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's great seeing that. And also just, I've been through Katrina, as a kid,
Sure.
and I know how severe and serious it is. So when I think the Bucs did a great job with evacuating everyone, making sure everybody's and families okay. And I hope y'all doing okay too. It look like some of y'all at home.
Yeah.
But I just know how it is, and I just thank God that we got out there, and we just praying for the families up there in Tampa.
Thanks, Lenny.
Jenna Lane.
Hey, Lenny, good to see you. And thank you for that, by the way. Hope your family's doing okay. For you, like, how difficult is it to focus on a football game when you have, some of those memories that kind of come flooding back to you? No pun intended, but just what is it like when you have some of those memories coming back to you, in with a situation like this?
I mean, at the time, I was a kid, and didn't really understand and know how serious the situation was. But now, as an adult, with my own kids, and I'm older, I understand the seriousness of the whole situation. So, I mean, it's not too many memories, I really think about, I leave it in the past, it happens, it's part of my journey. But I know how serious it is. So I know how it can turn for the worse. So I'm just happy we got ourselves out there, our families, and everyone is safe.
Thank you.
Evan Klosky.
Hey, Lenny, I'm just wondering if, I don't know if anybody on the team you've spoken with to give some words of advice to somebody who's been around a hurricane before, a severe one, and if there's anything you can say to the fan base as well. So many of them will be affected by this. Maybe something you've learned, whether during it or afterwards, that maybe you can give some words of advice, encouragement.
Just stay safe. Protect your family. That's what it's all about. If you had the decision or the choice to evacuate, I feel like that's what you're supposed to do, especially if you have younger kids who can't really do things on their own, So, I mean, that's the biggest thing, when hurricane happened, I was probably 8 or 9. So, I just know how it was, having to walk through that water, pushing over dead bodies just to, for your grandmother and grandfather just to pass through, looting, things like that. So if you have the choice to leave, leave. Other than that, the choice is yours at the end of the day.
We'll go to JP Peterson.
Hey, Lenny, I know you probably not like to get all the work you're getting. Talk a little bit about Rashad and Sneak and how they've prepared in the offseason. I know Todd was talking about it the other day. I'd like to see those guys get some other touches. What is it from your vantage point?
For me, they do everything that they're supposed to do. On time for meetings, writing notes, things that you're supposed to do as a pro and a professional. And I told them this I think earlier. I'm like, man, listen, we're gonna have to start just sharing the snaps. Because I know those guys practice all week or whatever the case may be, and I know they want to get their reps in. But as my job, I'm trying to prolong my career and help them, get them some snaps and things like that. So I mean, their time is gonna come for sure.
Last question will come from Joey Knight.
Lenny, it's obvious Tom has a lot of trust in you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It's obvious Tom has a lot of trust in you, and I think a lot of that is your ability to pass block and pass protect. How much pride do you just take in that, the way that part of your game has evolved?
Yeah, over the years I've gotten better. Coming to Tampa, I had to get better. Because you're blocking for one of the greatest, I'm not gonna say players, but guys, in the world. He's a great guy to be around. So, and just like it goes both ways, we have to block for Tom, the wide receivers have to block for the running backs. The running backs blocks for the wide receivers. It's opened up so much for our offense. So we're gonna get back to that, the basics. I know we haven't been scoring a lot of points how we wanted to. We're just still figuring things out with a lot of injuries and things like that. But there's no excuses. But we're gonna get better each and every week. Usually after a loss, you'll be kind of bummed out. But I'm happy that happened earlier. Like I told Devin, I wish we could have went undefeated. But things happen, and it's on to the next.
All right, that's all we have time for. Thanks, Lenny.
All right. Appreciate it, y'all.